Welcome everybody, this is self-elected ape of the year, and today I'm going to record my first video about flying in about 5 years. So in this video I'm going to just very shortly and briefly explain what happened and why I didn't create any content. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the state of Battle of Stalingrad, because the game has some really significant improvements, and I feel like it's really enjoyable now to play this game. So first of all, what happened? Basically, to put it in a nutshell, I don't want to go too much into details. I had a lot of family deaths, and connected to these family deaths I also had a lot of tax related issues, and a lot of responsibilities, a shit ton of stuff to work, and a lot of I wasn't things were not looking very promising, and it was very a difficult time. On top of that, I had lots of stuff with lawyers that had to do with the stuff that I inherited. And so I had a lot of real life issues all around these family deaths, and but now everything is worked out. Everything, all my worries and all this trouble, all the stress is over. I basically made it a lot harder in my mind than it should have been. It was basically all, I was able to deal with it. And I had a big problem with the way that I dealt with it. I had a lot of anger and a lot of issues, and I really didn't want to share that negativity and create videos while I was in that bad state of mind. So I also really had no fun playing. I played some computer games from time to time that basically just occupied my mind a little bit, but I really didn't want to create any content or do that stuff all on top, all of the stuff that I had to do. I got on top of my home office job, I got a lot of work to do around here at the house and the farm, and all that combined with all the stress and all the issues that I had to take care of, I really was not in the mood to create flights and videos. I hope you guys understand. And basically 2 months ago, I was basically really at the lowest point in my life, and I decided to change things up and to face certain issues, and I've done that, and I feel a lot better now, even though some stuff did not work out as I imagined it. But that's life, I guess. So I just want to give it as a quick tip here, just to talk a little bit about how to get out of a deep hole. I will put a link into the description about the Wim Hof breathing method, and on top of this, cold exposure. These two things, which is in the Wim Hof method included, of course, but these two things really pulled me out of the hole. And for everybody who has a lot of stress and doesn't know how to deal with it, and waking up in the middle of the night all the time, and not being able to eat properly and all these kinds of stuff, if you know what I'm talking about, try this Wim Hof breathing method, and I promise you it really works. I wouldn't have thought that this works, because lots of things haven't helped me, and this really does. It's amazing. So go ahead and check out the link if you are in a troubled state of mind yourself right now. So enough of that. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the game Battle of Stalingrad, and why I think that it's gotten a lot better. Now you will see some footage in the background here that's been recorded over the course of the last maybe 10 days. I'm flying together with my good friend Troutloft and Pity from the ACG group from years ago, and they also got into the game again because of all the changes that I'm going to talk about later. And Yeah, yeah. You will see in just a moment my first formation landing that I did together with Troutloft. And yeah, it's been a great time. It really is a lot of fun right now. I have also figured out how to get the track IR working a lot better in the game, because many of you guys probably know that in Battle of Stalingrad you can have a lot of track IR issues. I've already made a video about it years ago. Um, but on top of it all, what now improved it for me a lot is to get my head position in relation to the camera much lower. Because the normal position that I always had in Cliffs of Dover, for example, where basically the camera and my head with the track IR infrared recorders, infrared reflectors, I basically had this on the same level. And in Battle of Stalingrad, it's very good to sit lower. So put your chair in the lowest position possible. Put the monitor as high as possible. Maybe aim the camera from the angle a little bit upwards. And then it works a lot better, and you don't have all these twitching around issues that you get in this game a lot if you don't have the right camera position. And right here you're going to see the formation landing soon. And yeah. This is also a video where I'm going to, I'm going to make a special video about this. What you see right here, this is a campaign mode where you basically all the results of the sortie of this one server session are going to result in a different front line in the next mission. So these are these dynamic campaign missions, and this makes it a lot more interesting, because this is the server combat box, and they have all the stats and everything recorded. And you can basically see your progress and see how you have done and all that kind of stuff, so which really is very important for an online game and makes it a lot more interesting. So that just aside, now I'm going to tell you guys why the game got a lot better. I'm also going to make a special video about that somewhere in the future. I'm not going to give any promises now, because I have a lot of stuff to do still. And I'm going to visit friends and family at the holidays and stuff. And so I don't know when I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to put out one more video before Christmas and stuff. But just to put it in a nutshell here. So what has changed about Battle of Stalingrad? Why is it better now? So the most important issue that the game always had, for me, was the contact visibility. For everybody who has played the game in the past, you know that the contact visibility has always been something that you had to tweak and figure out yourself and try to change it in the config settings and all that kinds of stuff, the brightness and everything, just to be in the end still disappointed because the enemies or the contacts were just not rendered properly. So it just was all dependent on luck. It was not dependent on your skill to find enemies. It was just the luck to look in the right direction at the right time. And if you looked away for 2 seconds, the enemy or the contact was not rendered anymore, because the rendering distance was very short. This has been changed and fixed, I think, already 1.5 years ago or something, and I gave it a try back then and flew for 1 or 2 missions. I was, but overall, still pretty disappointed concerning the flight physics of the game. And this brings me to the next big improvement of the game right now. The way that the planes feel is just a lot better now. Everybody knows from the past that the planes basically felt extremely light. So it was all basically based on the flight characteristics of the game Rise of Flight, which is a game that plays in the First World War, where the planes were basically paper planes, right? And you really could feel this very, very heavily. So the planes just felt very light at lower speeds. Like paper planes, it was extremely wobbly and extremely twitchy, overly sensitive in regards to how the plane reacted to your input. And then at the same time, once you reached a certain speed, maybe something like 400 kilometers per hour, the controls locked up too much. So it was basically at the one side it felt too light at lower speeds, and then all of a sudden it felt too heavy. And this combined made it feel very awkward, and also created a very, very strange flight dynamic. So you had this kind of situation where once you attacked somebody from above with high speed, you couldn't really attack, and because you couldn't move, and yeah, and the flight dynamics just meant that you had to go in for more of an arcade style of attack, because you couldn't really do these boom and zoom maneuvers very successfully, only on people who didn't see you coming. So the good players basically knew exactly where to go, where these hotspots were, where enemies are going to be, and then they intercepted people always at the same spot, because they knew exactly this is the arcade fish tank area where everybody goes, because you cannot find anyone anyways because of the bad contact visibility. And then they always just shot down unsuspecting people who were on the way to the hotspots. And this made for a very, very boring and very frustrating flight dynamic. But now, with the improved contact visibility and also improved flight characteristics of the planes, you can actually patrol in the game and have very enjoyable experiences again. So it really feels like actually flying in a real mission, and finding your enemies and stuff. Yeah. So like we guys probably love to do it, and this whole arcade thing has gotten a lot less annoying. It's now more spread out. The action is happening all around the map again, and not just at two basic spots where everybody goes. So yeah, these are the two most important changes to the game, which really make me like it again. And I always liked the game. It was not like that I hated it, but it was like you could play the game for maybe 150 hours, and after that you were kind of bored with it or frustrated and didn't have no big interest in keep on playing it, and keeping on playing it. And yeah, now you can have these real like missions playing inside of your little head cinema, where you feel like an actual fighter pilot, and yeah, that really makes me enjoy flying again. And I'm going to create new videos with this game now. There's also DCS, which I'm going to make some videos about. But with this I have to wait a little bit, because I got very bad internet connection still right now, which is also a big reason why I didn't put up any videos. But it's not the real reason. I could have dealt with that, of course, just waiting to get the videos uploaded and stuff. But I have a very good high-speed internet connection now installed at my house. I just have to get the contracts ready, and over the course, beginning of next year I should have high-speed internet, and then I can produce new videos again. So yeah, 5 years ago I was forced to move back to my house here because my father got cancer and stuff, and I took care of him. And since then, yeah, I had this bad internet connection. And yeah, what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, the overall graphics improvements are also very nice in the game. You can see that there's no textures popping up anywhere. Yeah, earlier, so a couple of years ago, the game always had these issues with textures popping up in the distance, textures popping up on the sides of the planes, which is also something that's very nice for people who fly in flight groups. You can now have your numbers on the plane sides, and these textures are not going to pop up every time you look at a certain plane. So for example, you have somebody flying on your left side, you look to him, there's no textures, no numbers on his plane, and then this number pops up. This is of course very annoying and immersion breaking, and really, for me, destroyed the fun a lot. I mean, for many people this might be basically, let's say, irrelevant, but this has also been a very big issue for me. because I don't like to have my immersion broken every time I look at my flight partner, and yeah, this has also gotten fixed. So there's tons of these little improvements that really made the game a lot more enjoyable. Graphics look better, the flight physics are better, you can actually find people, the whole dynamic of the mission is a lot better. Also, like I said, I'm going to make a video about these dynamic campaigns and show to people a little bit how that works now. And I hope that many people who have given the game a chance in the past and got frustrated with it, like I also did, after, maybe something like 200 hours, you just couldn't take it anymore. It was just all the time, flying around forever, never finding anybody, and then all of a sudden being picked up from behind by somebody that you had no chance of seeing, because he was just waiting at this one spot and knew exactly where to look for popping up contacts, and then picking you off. And these frustrations, they are very much under control now in the game. It's a lot of fun to fly again. I hope that a lot of people are also going to try the game again, who maybe were too bored with it or too frustrated with it. And I can really just recommend to get back into it. And for me myself, I'm going to keep on flying now a lot with my mates from the ACG flight group, which has still a couple of people active. Actually not even that. It's not a small amount. There's lots of people still active there, but let's see how that develops in the future. Now, right here, I can keep on talking about this a little bit more. I did a stupid mistake here. I lost too much energy here, and these are basically only just training missions. This is just a dogfight dual server, or whatever you want to call it, where you just spawn in real quick to learn your skills and to practice. So I've done a majority of my flying here, and I've done some missions with my friends Troutloft and Pity. And just so you know, this is not an actual mission, this is just a training session where you just spawn in quickly. But nevertheless, I think I still perform quite good. I still got my skills, I haven't lost any of them, which is for me nice to see, because it's basically like driving a bicycle. You don't really lose those skills once you have them. But here I did this stupid mistake. I'm getting involved in this massive fish tank fight. Basically, you see all these contacts over there, 3 guys trying to shoot at the same plane. This is never a good idea. And this is what's going to get me killed, because I'm just losing my energy and getting involved in a fish tank fight. Here I got some hits in, and this is basically the beginning of the end for me in this mission. So I hope you guys can understand why I didn't put up any videos. I was really in a bad spot, had lots of responsibilities, lots of trouble, and I didn't deal with it correctly. I was just I was completely numb inside of my head, and full of anger, and had nothing positive to say about the world or anything. And then a couple of months ago, I don't know really why it happened, but my numbness disappeared, which made it even worse. And then I started to always wake up in the morning and be completely stressed out, and couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I'm just going to tell you again, this Wim Hof breathing method, it's like a miracle drug. It's amazing. I'm completely relaxed, and I feel much better than I have felt basically in decades. And this cold exposure thing is also extremely nice. I wouldn't have thought that this makes such a difference, but it actually really does. So go ahead and take a look at these things that I put in the description if you have some trouble yourself. Also, which is also important, you know, I'm trying to eat more healthily, because the way that you feel has a lot to do with the hormones that you produce in your gut. So if you eat shitty foods, you're also going to feel very bad, and it's actually something that is makes a lot of sense, and everybody, yeah, should know this by instinct. But yeah, many people don't think about that. So here's also some interesting hobby that I picked up. You see those kind of wild dogs. I'm not sure what this is. And by the way, I'm not a hunter. I do not kill animals. I just watch them. So I'm just interested in the wildlife around my house. And this is very interesting for me because those are some kind of wild dogs or something. I don't think that is foxes, because look at the tail. It's way too thin. And I'm not sure what the fuck this is. What the heck, you know? Some kind of wild dogs around my house. Yeah, I just thought this is a very interesting video. I got, you see the tail, I'm not sure, maybe it is a fox, but also the ears are not pointed like from a fox normally. Yeah, well, I'm going to put these little interesting bits at the end of videos in the future, where I'm going to show a little bit about the stuff that I'm doing here around the house and everything. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this first video about flying in a long time from my side. I'm going to produce much more content than I've done in the last 5 years, so hit the like and subscribe button to never miss another video. Yeah, the next one is going to come a little bit quicker. And like I said, I'm going to make a video about the combat box dynamic campaign situation in Battle of Stalingrad, and kind of show that a little bit to people. So, this is self-elected Ape of the Year signing off, and by the way, that's my dog, who was scared of these wild dogs there.